There is a moment quiet and unannounced when a person sits alone and begins to feel the weight of their own presence. Not the body, not the mind, but something subtler, a silent observer, a field of awareness in which all experience unfolds. In that stillness, something profound begins to emerge, a recognition that the story we carry about who we are may not be entirely ours, that perhaps we have spent our entire lives chasing shadows on the wall of the mind, mistaking them for the self. The sense of I feels absolute, anchored, personal, and real. It says, I think, I feel, I want. But pause for a moment. Is that I as solid as it appears? Or is it too a construct born from repetition, reinforced by thought, language, and memory? We rarely ask where this I originates. It is handed to us, named and narrated before we can even question. But just because something is familiar doesn't mean it is true. Our internal dialogue is constant, a stream of commentary layered with judgments, interpretations, and assumptions. It seems to come from within, speaking as us, but there is something strange about it. We do not choose these thoughts. They arise unbidden, play out, and dissolve. If we are the author of every thought, why do some feel intrusive, unwanted, or contradictory? Why do we argue with ourselves, soothe ourselves, scold and praise within the same breath? This is the hidden theater of the mind, where thought impersonates identity. It creates characters, versions of you that act, react, fear, and hope. But beneath these performances, who is watching the stage? Who is aware of the inner dialogue without being part of it? To begin peeling back the layers of this illusion, we must challenge a fundamental assumption that the voice in the head is you. Imagine listening to a radio that never turns off. You don't choose the channel, the topics, or the timing. And yet, because it is so close, so entangled with memory and emotion, you mistake the static for your own voice. But there is another presence within you, one that does not speak but sees. It does not argue but witnesses. It is there before the thought, during the thought, and after the thought has gone. This awareness is not made of memory. It is not a product of time. It is not a thing you can point to, and yet it is more real than any thought that passes through it. The tragedy and the beauty of human life lie in this paradox. We are born into a world of mirrors, each one reflecting back an idea of who we are supposed to be. We take on roles, personalities, identities, like costumes for a play we never agreed to perform. But in the stillness, away from the mirrors, away from the noise, something unchanging waits. Not a better version of the self, but the absence of self as a fixed idea. To know this directly is not an intellectual process. It is a deep experiential seeing. A seeing that reveals the I you defend so fiercely is as fluid as water, shaped by thought, shaped by time, but not who you are. The recognition of this truth is not a conclusion, but an opening, an invitation to journey beyond identity, beyond the mind's tricks, into the living mystery of awareness itself. There is something deceptively convincing about the voice in your head. It mimics logic, it mimics feeling, it mimics care and concern. It has learned the rhythm of your fears and the vocabulary of your past. But if you begin to observe it carefully, with presence rather than participation, a curious realization begins to form. The mind is not having a conversation with you, it is having a conversation with itself, an echo chamber where thought responds to thought, creating the illusion of a self in dialogue. The illusion is subtle, but its consequences are vast. You hear a thought arise, I should be doing more. Immediately another voice responds, yes, but I'm tired. Then a third, that's just an excuse. These voices seem to represent different parts of you, but where exactly are these parts located? Are there compartments in the psyche with individual identities, or is there simply one endless stream looping within itself? The trick is that this internal dialogue feels like selfhood. It feels like you are thinking through something. But try this. Instead of engaging with the thoughts, simply observe them. Don't follow them. Don't answer them. Let them appear as clouds in the sky, passing with no need to interpret. What remains? What remains is not another thought. What remains is silence, awareness, space. And that space is not empty. It is full of a quiet intelligence that does not argue, does not rush, and does not speak in words. It simply knows, and its knowing is not based on analysis, it is based on presence. The mind cannot tolerate this for long. It will try to reassert control, to reclaim its throne as the narrator of your existence. It will inject a doubt, a memory, a desire. And just like that, you are drawn back into the theater, forgetting again that the characters on stage are figments of the same scriptwriter, the mind itself. This loop of thought creates the sensation of continuity. I have always been me, you might say. But look closely. Have you? Is the you of your childhood, of your past relationships, of your dreams and fears? Are those selves not wildly different from the one you wear today? And yet something watched all of them come and go. Something witnessed each mask being put on and taken off. That witness is not part of the thought loop. It does not have an agenda. It is the still background to the endless chatter in the foreground. And once you begin to identify with this witnessing awareness instead of the mental narrative, the entire machinery of identity begins to lose its grip. You are no longer held hostage by the internal critic, the anxious planner, the nostalgic dreamer. You are the space in which they rise and fall. The freedom in this is not theoretical, it is visceral. When the mind is seen for what it is, not demonized but simply understood, a gap forms, a sacred pause between stimulus and response. In that pause, something real breathes, something that cannot be reduced to thought, named by the mind, or captured in language. You can call it consciousness, being, presence. It does not matter. What matters is that it is, and that you are that. This realization does not end thought. Thoughts will continue to arise, as they always have, but they no longer carry the same weight. They are no longer commands. They are weather, movements of energy through the field of awareness that is not disturbed by their passing. And in this field, you begin to feel the truth that was hidden behind every word the mind ever spoke, that you were never the speaker, nor the listener, but the silent space between.